Wyrick. He's a guy who surveyed the Newark earthworks. He was digging into a mound near those earthworks, and he found a wooden coffin made of oak. They opened up the coffin and found a skeleton of a man holding a little box. It was about 8.10 inches in size. The box had been cemented shut here. This, by the way, is sitting in Ohio. Well, he opened up the box and he found a little man inside, a little black stone. They took it to scholars and they looked at it. The man seems to be carrying something, and there's writing here. At first, they couldn't recognize. The writing is, they thought in 1860, some sort of Hebrew. Well, finally, about 20 years later, they found some rabbis living in the area, and the rabbis looked at that, and they could read it. They said it was an old kind of block Hebrew, and it was a rendition of the Ten Commandments. Now, this is another piece. Block Hebrew. They said they'd never seen anything like it. Mainstream archaeologists at the time called this a hoax. But then in 1900, or just about after 1900, in Israel, they found the same block-style Hebrew writing. Mainstream archaeologists still dismissed the findings. They found it in Israel, and they found it in Ohio. But there was another stone that they found that they couldn't argue. This is the Bat Creek stone. It was found during the course of an official Smithsonian evacuation. The Smithsonian didn't understand the meaning of the writing on the stone. They thought it was Cherokee, since it came from Cherokee country. They didn't realize that it's actually Hebrew. They had published this originally upside down. They threw it in a box at the bottom of the Smithsonian, put it in the basement. Many years later, a scholar took it out of the box, looked at it, and went, oh my gosh, it's upside down. It's Phoenician, ancient Hebrew. So what's going on here? What is that about? Where is that history?
Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to say, call hello, Yahweh, B'Hashem Yahshua, B'Hashem, Rakah Kadash. First and foremost, giving all glory and honor to the Almighty Yahweh. Secondly, to His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai. And thirdly, to the Rakah Kadash, which is the Holy Spirit that gives us all knowledge, wisdom, and truth. I also would like to give double honors to the elders of Great Millstone, the apostles, and the servants of Yahweh, B'Hashem Yahshua, pushing this 144% truth with all sincerity and diligence, as well as I would like to give salutations to the confusion of faith that is scattered across the four corners of the earth that come from the sea line of Israel, as well as the Akim and Akwaf, the men and women who have came to this wise counsel, those that are seeking their salvation and mercy at the hands of Yahweh through His Son Yahweh Shai, and those that are studying to show themselves approved. I would like to say shalom. Coming back at you with another lesson, and this lesson was inspired by Elder Apostle Malcolm, all right, on the hard work he's doing. All right, and the title of this lesson is The Hypocrisy of E, the Denial of the Truth of the Bible, which E calls conspiracy theory. All right, I'm going to repeat that again. It is the hypocrisy of E, the denial of the truth of the Bible, which E calls conspiracy theory. All right, and E doesn't believe in the Bible, all right, because E is Satan. He's an adversary of the Lord, and he's an adversary of truth. All right. And the so-called white man does not reverence the Bible, which we're going to grab that here in Psalms chapter 14 and verse 1. It says, the fool, who is the so-called white man, have said in his heart that there is no power. They are corrupt. They have done abominable works. There is none that doeth good. And none of these devils do good because they're against the truth. They're against the people of the Lord. All right. And they have set their face against the people of the Lord. And how do we know that? All right. This is Psalms chapter 83. All right. Let me grab that real quick. This is Psalms chapter 83 and verse 1. All right. It says, keep not thy silence, O Yahweh, hold not thy peace, and be not still, O Yahweh. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, they make a silent pact. All right. And they that hate thee have lifted up the head in their pride. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people. They have consulted against thy hidden ones. Now this crafty counsel all right, was by the Renaissance and the Roman Catholic Church to cover up the history of the people of the Lord, to steal these artifacts, deface artifacts, steal documents, all right, which I believe through the power of Spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, that a lot of our relics and understanding is sitting under the Vatican. All right, stockpile. That's what they have under the Vatican. All right, and the so-called white man do really lynch, do many different philosophies and many different councils, all right, have sought to hide all our history and all our evidence, but they continue to find archaeological evidence all over the world of us, all right, in the Paleo-Hebrew, even artifacts still being dug up in Israel as we speak. All right, so it says, and they have taken crafty counsel against thy people. They have consulted against thy hidden ones. All right, because we didn't know who we was. The Heavenly Father took our wisdom away from us. All right, because our iniquity and our transgressions. Verse 4, and they have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation. So people like this in front of you, Jacob Rothschild, all right, and many different other rulers, all right, upon this planet, all right, the rulers of darkness, all right, they said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel be no more in remembrance. And how else did they do that? By stealing our heritage, stealing our name, all right, stealing our, lying to the world, all right, talking about they the Jews when they not the Jews. And then whenever you bring up evidence that supports our claim and all this proof that we bring forth, then they bring forth that trapdoor word, which is AntiS3m, all right? All right, and they have used that as a defense mechanism to make it seem like you're lashing out being racist towards them, when all actuality is the reverse. All right, and this is a way to negate the truth. All right. Verse 5, he says, for they have consulted together with one consent, they are confederate against thee. So all these nations are confederate against the people of the Lord. All right. Now, the scripture says that we would fall away from our heritage. This is Jeremiah 17:4. All right. It reads, and thou, even thou, shalt discontinue from thy heritage which I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thy enemies in the land which thou knowest not. Now, we were brought over into the Americas. We were brought here by these devils. All right. We were brought here on slave ships. They even want to try to erase that out the history books. All right. It says, and it says, and thou shalt discontinue from thy heritage which I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thy enemies in the land which thou knowest not. For ye have kindled a fire in my anger, which shall burn forever. All right, because we went off from the Lord and started worshiping other gods. All right, many of the wicked among our flock wanted to do after the ways of the heathen. All right, and the Most High was displeased with that and punished us as a nation. All right, now this is Lamentations chapter 5 and verse 2. Lamentations 5 and 2. All right, and it reads, our inheritance is turned into strangers. These devils, they the strangers. Our houses to aliens. All right, because these devils wasn't the original inhabitants of Israel. These devils are from Russia, from the Khazars. All right, from Khazaria. All right, and from many other lands, these devils came and took our land. All right, so our houses are turned over to aliens because they are not the people of the Lord. They are not they named themselves Israeli, right? All right, they called themselves Jewish. They want to be like the Jews. Ish means your shirt is blackish. No, either you're black, either it's black or it's white. All right, but they call themselves the Jewish because they want to be like us, who are the people of the Lord. They want to be like us. All right, and you can see that in modern day culture right now, how these devils try to put diamond teeth in their mouth like us, how they try to dress like us, how they women try to dress like our women. All right, how they try to go get tans and put all this shit on their skin to get color. All right, they actually want to be us, but they can't be us. All right, All right, so now we're going to go to Deuteronomy chapter 28. And not only that, the curses, they don't even fit the curses of the scriptures, what will happen to the Israelites. All right, this is Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 64. All right. All right, Deuteronomy 28:64, and it says, and the Lord shall scatter thee among all people. This didn't happen to them, right? From one end of the earth even unto the other, right? And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even gods of wood and stone. All right, so us discontinuing from our heritage, all right, we would pick up the traits of the heathens and worship gods of wood and stone. All right, let's go here to 45. All right, moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee and pursue thee and overtake thee till thou be destroyed, till we be mentally destroyed and destroyed as a nation. Because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of Yahweh to keep the commandments and his statutes which he have commanded us. All right, so all these things happen to us, and this will be a sign upon the true people of the Lord, the Israelites. And that's us in this lower state under these devils, right? All right, because upon the returning of Yahweh, the people of the Lord will be in a very lower state. But who's ruling the world? These fake-ass Jews, all right? Now let's go to Deuteronomy 28:68. And it says, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again. What's on the back of that dollar? A pyramid, all right? This is the modern-day Egypt. All right, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way I spake of thee, and thou shalt see it no more again. And there you shall be sold to your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and nobody shall buy you or redeem you. All right, so the redeeming of the people of the Lord wouldn't come until he comes to redeem you out of this, redeem you out of this slavery, which he paid for with his blood. All right. So I want to show you some evidence of the slave trade and the people who were coming over here on the slave trade. All right, one moment. So in 70 AD, when we will be destroyed out of our land, all right, the remnant who took heed to the words of Yahweh fled into Africa, all right, into the Atlas Mountains, mainly in this area up here, which, all right, leaving out of Israel, we fled, all right. Now I want you to look at some of these maps, because these devils know who we are. Look at down there in the left-hand corner, it says the Negro Jews. These are the areas that we flee into. See right here? It says the Morambi Jews. All right. Also here in the slave coast where they took us into slavery right here on this map. These are areas where the Judah and Benjamin fled. All right. All right. And here as well, here on the west coast of Africa, as you see, Beni Ephraim, the Dahomey Jews. All right. Where we fled at. These white devils wasn't in West Africa going into slavery. It was us. All right. And those on the west coast of Africa would be called Igbos or Hebos, right? Hebo or Hebrew. Now I want you to look at these names right here. And this says Naya Mola, right? Which you can see the YH of the Lord, part of the Lord's name in there. Inya, Yahoo, Akia, Henya, Binya, Tayoa, Koya, and Bunya, all right, which the true names of the Lord is Yahweh. But we had our name. This is a record of slaves, all right, that were brought here on a slave voyage. See, you say voyage ID 2023. Well, these are the slave records of us going into slavery, proving that we are the people of the Lord. But the so-called white man wants to constantly deny this truth. This is Revelations chapter 11 and verse 8. And their dead bodies shall lie in a great city, right, which is America, all right, where it's spiritually called Sodom and Egypt, all right. Sodom, meaning they're pushing homosexuality here, and it emanates from America, and Egypt as a house of bondage. Well, also the Lord was crucified because they didn't teach the scriptures right. The so-called white man whitewashed our history, whitewashed the judges, the top judge, mainly Yahweh Shai, all right, and tortured the people of the Lord. All right. Just like the Lord was hung from a tree, these so-called white people hung us from trees. All right, verse 9, and they of the people, kindreds, tongues, and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half, and shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves, to tell us who he was, to take crafty counsel of our people, and cut off the name of Israel, and give us names as black, African American, Negro, all these other different names. All right. Verse 10, and they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them. All right, rejoice at our fall from the dark ages, right, from the high state, and shall send gifts to one another, us being the gifts which were slaves. All right, because these two prophets tormented them that dwelled upon the earth. All right, so they would give us as gifts as slaves. All right, now this is Lamentations. I'm gonna grab this real quick. Lamentations chapter 1 and verse 21. Lamentations 1 and 21. All right. And it reads, they have heard that I sigh, there is none to comfort me. All my enemies have heard of my trouble. Right? All these nations coming up against the people of the Lord. They are glad that thou hast done it, has brought us down from ruling during the dark ages. All right, for that 1,000-year reign. Thou wilt bring the day that thou hast called, and they shall be like unto me. All right, let's go to Lamentations 2 and 1. It says, How hath the Lord covered the daughter of Zion with a cloud, and in his anger have cast them down from heaven, from rulership unto the earth, the beauty of Israel, and remember not the footstool in the day of his anger. The Lord hath swallowed up the inhabitants of Jacob, and have not pity. He hath thrown down his wrath. He hath thrown down in his wrath the strongholds of the daughter of Judah. All right. He hath brought them down to the ground, to the bottom, to hell, being in slavery. He hath polluted the kingdom and all the princes thereof. He hath cut off in his fierce anger all the horn of Israel. Now, when you understand a horn, that means he hath cut off our power. He hath drawn back his right hand from before the enemy, and have burned against Jacob like fire which devours round about. And that's how these devils got us in slavery. That burns us like a fire that devour round about. These devils killing us, all these nations torturing us. All right, all our people scattered across the four corners in their hands and at the bottom, and they working us to death. All right, and putting us in servitude, taking our money, taking our riches, causing us to howl. All right, let me read this again, because there's a reason why I'm going to read this again. He says, he hath cut off in his fierce anger all the horn of Israel, which is their power. He hath drawn back his right hand from before the enemy. He hath burned against Jacob like a flaming fire that devour round about. Now we're going to go to a parallel of this scripture. All right, this is Hosea chapter 8. All right, Hosea chapter 8, verse 8. All right, and we're going to get this. All right, it says, Israel is swallowed up. Now shall she be among the Gentiles as a vessel wherein there is no pleasure. This is why all these nations call us niggers. They spit on us. They do us any kind of way. It says, for they are gone up to Assyria, a wild ass alone by himself. Ephraim have hired lovers. Yea, though they have hired among the nations, now will I gather them, and they, all right, and they were sorry for a little burden, for the king of princes, all right, which is the Yahushua, who's going to come to redeem them from all their enemies. All right, so now we're going to go to Isaiah. All right, Isaiah chapter 22 and verse 17. All right, this is talking about this mighty slave trade as well in the Bible. All right, that we would go through. All right, and pulling us from our high stature down to the ground. All right, it says, behold, the Lord will, it says, behold, the Lord will carry thee away with a mighty captivity. This was this mighty slave trade. and will surely cover thee. He will violently turn and toss thee like a ball into a large country. Now you had millions of people, all right, brought over here in the slave trade. All right, one moment. Okay, so this will be a replica of us in our Howard state during the Byzantine Empire, during the Dark Ages, us ruling in Europe. Now this is Isaiah 22:17. It says, behold, the Lord will carry thee away with a mighty captivity and will surely cover thee, and he will violently turn and toss thee like a ball into a large country, which is America. There shall thy die, and there shall the chariots of thy glory be ashamed of the Lord's house. The angels looking down on Israel in the lowest state. Verse 19, and I will drive thee from thy station where you're set up at, and from thy state, that high state, as you can see, right? He said he will drive us from our state, right? And pull thee down, all right? And we will pull down from the rulers of the earth to slaves, all right? So I want to end off here in Baruch, all right? Baruch, and I also have something else for you as well. This is Baruch chapter 2, and we're going to start at verse 29, Baruch 2 and 29. All right, and it reads, all right, if ye will not hear my voice, surely this very great multitude shall be turned into a small number among the nations where I will scatter them. This didn't happen to these so-called white Jews, all right, these Edomites, all right, for I knew that they would not hear me because it is a stiff-necked people, but in the land of their captivities they shall remember themselves. Us here in this last days waking up to the truth, all right, right. Right, and I'm gonna grab an excellent under scripture. This is also prophesied in Revelations that we will wake up here in the last days. This is Revelations 11 and 11. All right, and it says, and after 3 days and a half, the Spirit from Yahweh entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. Us coming back to the understanding of who we are. So this is what's taking place right now as we speak. Great fear is falling upon these devils because they seeing that we coming back to the understanding that we are the real Jews, that we are the people of the Lord. All right. This is 2 Ezra 2 and 2 Ezra chapter 2 and verse 30, it says, for I knew that they would not hear me because of the stiff-necked people, but in the land of their captivities they shall remember themselves. And they shall know that I am Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, because what he would do, he would give us a heart and ears to hear. He will wake up the elect to this truth. He will open their spirits up, all right, through the Holy Spirit, through the Comforter, through Yahushai visiting us again, all right, Yahushai breaking those seals, that we will be able to get those who Yahushua purchased with his blood, this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, so they can be delivered. So here in 31, it says, and I knew, and they shall know that I am Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, for I will give them a heart and ears to hear. And they shall praise me in the land of their captivity, and think upon my name, which is Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, and return from their stiff neck and from their wicked deeds, for they shall remember the way of their fathers, which have sinned before the Lord. All right, and then upon the Messiah returning to redeem us, and I will bring them again into that land which I promised them with the oath to their fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and they shall be lords over it, and I will increase them and shall not diminish them. And I will make an everlasting covenant with them, and they shall be my people, and I will no more drive my people Israel out of the land which I have given them. All right, so I want to bring forth you something that the Edomite said. All right, and this came from one of these letting their own tongue fall upon themselves. All right, and this would inspire me as well to do the video. All right, this is Maggie Cohen. Now they always go by this last name Cohen. Now this is what she wrote. All right, she says, black people can't be AntiS3m unless they are self-hating and condemning as individuals. True Semitic people are black. So the only people who are being anti-Semitic about this are those that deny black people that they are the true Hebrews and continue to be gatekeepers of the said truth, all right? Calling it conspiracy theory. Every time we acknowledge who we are, they want to try to cut off this truth, just like here on Facebook, all right? Or when we bring out this truth, they throwing strikes, doing everything they can to try to stop this truth, but they can't stop it because it's the Spirit of the Lord. It says, the truth shall set you free. Don't hate me, hate the powers that be in the physical world, not our spiritual, sacred spiritual world. Now, never know, she might be a confusion of face by her spirit, by acknowledging this, all right? But she came out and said it, all right? And this is right here, this post from, which I don't watch these people, all right? I only listen to the elders and apostles, the great millstone, and those who teach the light doctrine, all right? But you grab truth for truth. It says, white Jewish woman says blacks can't be AntiS3m because they are the original Shemitic people. Jealousy, hatred, and envy plays a part of them not wanting us to know who we are. They want us to sing and dance and play sports all our lives instead of have our own and separate from oppression and racism. All right, now this woman right here, Kohan, she spoke the truth. All right, she could be, and you're gonna have Israelites coming back to the kingdom that look like her. All right, all right. So I hope that this lesson was truly edifying. I want to say, call halal Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Rakakadash. I hope that this was edifying to the sheep. I hope that the Lord plants this seed in your spirit to wake up to this truth before it's too late. I hope you seek the Lord before his wrath is turned loose. All right, and the judgment is brought forth. All right, and I hope that you were sincerely edified. All right, I want to say, call halal Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Rakah Kadash. First and foremost, giving all glory and honor to the Almighty Yahweh. Secondly, to his only begotten Son, Yahushai. And thirdly, to the Rakah Kadash, which is the Holy Spirit. Shalom.